Welcome to tonight's live stream. I'm going to get started in a minute. I just need to let everybody know that the stream is going on right now.
New customers to Microcenter.
Okay, now that I have let everybody know that the stream is going on, I am going to get into tonight's topic. Now, tonight's topic was requested by a viewer who wanted me to do a video, but I thought it would be better to do the entire topic as a live stream because I've got life experience on this subject. Now, the viewer wanted me to talk about how do you put yourself first when you're dealing with family resistance. Now, this viewer seems to be going through something I have still been going through ever since I was a teenager. And when it's hard to put yourself first when you're dealing with family members who don't really understand what you're trying to do to move yourself ahead, and because these people don't understand what you're trying to do to move yourself ahead, what they do is they start to try to sabotage you. Now, some people in the Black community, we call this crabs in a bucket syndrome. And when it comes down to a lot of these crabs in a bucket, what they want to do is pull you down as you're trying to move yourself forward. And a lot of these people, they want to pull you down because they fear the changes you're going to make in your life are going to impact them indirectly. Now, the changes that you're making in your life, they are not something you're doing personally to hurt them. They're things you're doing to help yourself. And sadly, some people don't understand that you're trying to do things to help yourself. So what they want to do is get in your way because they don't think that you're doing something positive to help yourself. Now, it's important to put yourself first, and putting yourself first is not something selfish. No, putting yourself first is something that every healthy human being does. And many toxic family members, what they will try to do is shame you because what they want to do is attach an emotional hose to you to make themselves codependent on you. They don't really want to see you grow and change. So they'll go out here and use shaming language telling you that you're being selfish, that you're being narcissistic, and sometimes tell you that you're being nasty, but you're not being selfish, you're not being rude, you're not being nasty. You are doing what is in your best interest, and there's a difference between putting yourself first and being selfish. A person who puts themselves first is looking out for their health. They're looking out for their safety and they're looking out for their freedom. A narcissist doesn't care about other people, but a person who puts themselves first, they do care about other people, and they know that if they're not healthy, they can't go out here and help other people. So when a person puts themselves first, it's something that's actually positive for everyone, because putting yourself first means that you're going to take care of yourself so that you have time to take care of others if it's possible. So when a person puts themselves first, they are setting a goal for what they want to accomplish, and they want to go out here and meet those goals so that they can go out here and improve themselves and improve their quality of life. So when a person puts themselves first, what they're doing is saying, hey, I've got some goals I want to achieve. I got some things I want to accomplish. I want to go out here and do something to actually help myself. And that's a good thing, because if you're putting yourself first, then you can go out here and be able to focus on what you need to do and what you need to accomplish. And then once you've accomplished what you want to accomplish, then you can go out here and reach back and pull back other people. Unfortunately, many toxic family members don't really see this. And because many of these toxic family members don't really see what you're trying to do, you really have a lot of problems with these kinds of people. Now, I myself have run into this ever since I was a teenager. Ever since I was in school, I wanted to go out here and win awards, but oftentimes I would run into people who would want to get in my way. And these people, a lot of them, in some cases, they would be jealous because I'm out here trying to put in some work to try to get good grades. And these people would go out here and try to mock me for going out here and trying to work on trying to do well in school. Others would be trying to tell me that I needed to have a girlfriend. These people, they want, again, they don't really want to see you succeed at anything. They are crabs in a barrel, and what they want to do is pull you down. And they want to pull you down because they don't want to see you be successful. They basically want you to be miserable in their company, and they want you to stay at the bottom with them. But if you want to go somewhere, you can go somewhere when you're around these kinds of toxic people. And I was able to do that and be able to finally get my high school diploma in 1992. Now, going out here and working in toxic environments with toxic family members, toxic schoolmates, and even toxic people in the community, this is something that you can do, but you have to go out here and do something I did, which was cut people off, and you're going to have to go into stealth mode. Now, you may be living in a house with some toxic people who don't support what you're trying to do, but the best way to go about working on your goals is to not tell anybody about what you're doing. What you're going to have to do is first learn how to keep your mouth shut about whatever you're doing and make your moves in silence. That's the only way you're going to be able to deal with these kinds of toxic individuals. Is you're going to have to not say anything about what you're doing, because the minute you say something about what you're doing, you're going to have to deal with the jealousy. You're going to have to deal with the envy. You're going to have to deal with people going out here and not only naysaying against you, but also you're going to have to deal with them coming at you with their passive aggressive behavior by doing things like, when you know that if you're in school and you have a test, they'll go out here and do stuff to get in your way. Or if they find out you have a major important date, they will go out here and try to feign some sort of illness or put on some sort of drama or try to involve you in some sort of nonsense. And what you have to do is go out here and not say much about what you're doing. Just go out here and go take care of your business, because the whole way you take care of your business is by not letting these people into your business. Now, this is something, again, I had to do ever since I was in high school. This is how I got my high school diploma, was first by just staying silent and just doing my work undercover. The other thing that I had to do was start putting some distance between myself and toxic kids in high school. One of the things I learned when I was in high school is that if you want to get that diploma, you're going to have to get away from certain people. And that may even mean cutting off certain family members, because if you want to move your life forward, you have to go out here and cut off these people, because these people don't want to see you have success. No, they want to see you at the bottom, because that's where they feel that they're comfortable in their smooth world. In order for their world to be smooth, you need to be in your place, and your place in their world is at the bottom of their world. So that's something many people really don't understand about toxic people. Toxic people, they want you to be at the bottom of their world. And once you start to make your moves out of their world and they hear about it, they will go out here and try to keep sabotage you so that you stay at that bottom place. Thank you to Vanya, Joseph. I really wanted to make this video for this live stream for the viewer. Hey, Sir Leo, glad to see you here. Joy Brooks, everybody in the chat, glad to see you here. I don't know, sometimes YouTube does things because they don't really like this channel, but I'm still going to try to keep going on and keep making content. And this was a subject I know a lot about, because I know about trying to focus on your goals and putting yourself first. And I know how you have a lot of adversaries and enemies, especially when you're trying to make positive moves. When you're trying to make positive moves, that's when it seems like everybody starts to go against you. And again, a lot of family members go against you because they need you to enable their dysfunction. And when they see you starting to function, it really shines a light on their behavior. And that's not something that they want a light shined on. So when they see you starting to make progress, what they want to do is get you to start failing so that they can go back to dysfunction as usual. And you can't let them go back to dysfunction as usual. You have a right to make changes in your life. You have a right to make changes to move your life forward. And you have a right to move yourself into a better life situation. And that's something those toxic family members, they don't really want you to do, but you have a right to go do this. And you have a right to start building yourself up into somebody better. I mean, this is something I did back when I was 16 years old, when I prayed to the Most High to change my life for the better, when I was in a toxic high school, which was Park West High School. And I moved to a Taft High School, and I started making changes to move my life forward. And this is something I had to do. And again, it was a very painful process. I mean, you're dealing with toxic classmates who really don't want to go anywhere. And then sometimes you're dealing with family that doesn't want to see you go anywhere. And I know that, again, it can be done. You can make those steps. But the first part of making those steps is you have to start making those steps in silence. The whole thing is that if you're making changes, you're the only one who needs to know about these changes. Other people don't need to know what you're doing. All you need to do is focus on what you want to do, where you want to go, and how you're going to go about it. You want to go on stealth mode when you're out here, because stealth mode is how you keep the crabs from grabbing at your leg, and you keep those crabs from pulling you down and taking away all of your hard work. The stealth mode is where you're making your moves in silence, and you're just making the moves with the people who are going to help you move forward. And as you're working with those people to move forward, you're not telling the people in your neighborhood, the people in your family, you're not saying a single word to any of those people, because these people have not really shown you that they have the character that proves that they are trustworthy in helping you achieve or accomplish your goals. No, you don't go out here and talk to those people, because those people have shown they cannot be trusted. like the viewer was seeing as related to their situation, it seems like they can't trust their family members. So you can't tell these people about what you're trying to do, and you can't let them know what you're trying to do, because these people, in their envy, in their jealousy, they're going to sabotage you, because some people want to be the age nice and others just want to see you fail. So it's best to just keep quiet and just start making your moves, and eventually you will be in a place where you can actually walk away from these individuals and you won't have to deal with them at all. So that silence is one thing, and then formulating a plan for where you want to go, that's the next step that you have to take. After you enter the stealth mode, you have to go out here and start working towards making the moves towards whatever goal you want to accomplish. So once you start going out here and cutting people off, not really saying anything about what you're doing, what you want to do is then start working towards whatever goal you are starting to go out here and work towards. Now, when I was 16 years old, my goal was to get my high school diploma, and I just worked quietly behind the scenes. And what I did was just go out here, went and took my RCTs. I did that really on stealth mode. Did that over a week when I was about 17 years old. Just went in and I found out when the tests were, and I just went in and just took my tests for the RCTs. Then I started working with my guidance counselor quietly on my credits, started working towards getting the credits I was supposed to get, and just keeping it real quiet, not saying anything much to people in class, just going out here, coming in every day, doing what I needed to do, and then going home every day from school and just keeping it real quiet, not getting into it with people on the street, not getting it with people on the block, just keeping my mouth shut, minding my business, and doing what needed to be done. So that's all part of stealth mode. When you're out here putting in work, you don't let people know what you're going to do. You just go out here and do what you need to do. Now, a lot of guys, they do this on the job too. When they're looking to go get another job, they go out here on stealth mode. They may not like the work that they're doing at that job. They may not even like the people there, but they're not going to say anything about moving on to another job. What they're going to do is keep their mouths shut, and what they're going to do is go out here, find some contacts, network with some contacts, put in their resume or talk to a contact, go to the interviews in quiet, and then talk to the people in business in private. And then what they're going to do after they get an offer is nobody knows the person is on their way out until they put in their 2 weeks notice. And if the people really don't like them, they will say that they're going to quit that very week and put a period at the end of things with these individuals. Because when you're dealing with toxic individuals or unsupportive individuals, the whole thing is the less they know, the better it is for you. And you move underground, you move in silence, and you move very quietly. And you just say, look, I'm moving from this place to this place, and I'm not making a lot of noise about it, because again, the more these people hear, the more they want to get into your business, and the more they can throw monkey wrenches into your business. And again, I've experienced this not only with my high school experience, I also experienced it when I first started SJS Direct back in 2009. Now, back in 2009, one of my online friends, a best-selling author, she set up a radio show for me to interview to talk about my first SJS Direct book, All About Maryland. And I was going to do this radio show, and it was going to be something where I was going to be talking about not only the book All About Maryland, but I was also going to be talking about the struggles of Black actresses in Hollywood. So this was a major event for me. I was going to be on an online radio show talking about all about Maryland, and I had been planning this whole event for months on end. And you can read the book All About Maryland. And this was in 2009 or so, or 2000. It was 2009. And I had worked hard to put this together. My friend, the best-selling author, I worked towards putting this together. But my big mistake was I was telling my family, and one of my family members didn't really, they didn't really understand what I was trying to do. And they got all insecure about this radio show. And they got insecure, and they let their insecurities become paranoia. And their paranoia made it where I couldn't do the show, and I couldn't go out here and be able to be on the show. Because before I was about to start to do the show, they went and started some drama with me, and I couldn't do the show because of all the drama they were causing behind the scenes in my home. So I was going to do this show, and I was ready to do this show, and they started all this drama and wanted to get into my business, and I had to cancel the event. And after they canceled that event, I had to go out here and change the way I did things as related to SJS Direct Business. And ever since that incident, I don't really talk too much to my family about many of the books on the SJS Direct imprint, because after dealing with all this drama that I had to deal with, I just realized that if I want to try to move the SJS Direct imprint ahead, I have to go out here and I have to go operate in silence. So this individual, they went out here, they were talking, because All About Maryland was a screenplay book. They were sitting there talking about how I was going to go to Hollywood and how I was going to change. And that really was their greatest fear. Their fear was I was going to go to Hollywood and I was going to change into somebody different. But this person, they really did not understand the whole business that I was in, independent publishing, and they really didn't understand the screenplay business. Now, in independent publishing, you are on your own, and these opportunities that you get to go out here and promote, they can make or break a book. So when you're out here doing independent publishing, you're not going to be in a place where you're anywhere near mainstream entertainment. What you're trying to do is just get the word out about your book, just trying to get the word out about your story. And all I was trying to do was talk about how Black actresses in Hollywood were struggling and not able to get roles. And I was also talking about how this was one of the inspirations for the story. And I was talking about how this really was preventing Black actresses from going out here and actualizing their potential. These were story points that were in All About Maryland. And this was something I couldn't talk about on that radio show because this family member thought, oh, you're writing a screenplay. You're getting on this online radio show, which is really not anything compared to mainstream radio. And you're going to be thinking about going to Hollywood, which is not going to happen because if you know screenwriting, you know that the screenwriter is at the bottom of any entertainment totem pole. And it's like when you're even if you write a screenplay, it doesn't mean anything because it's a long road to getting a screenplay sold. So yes, you can write a screenplay. Yes, you can get an exposure on an online radio show, but it's not going to do anything as related to impact. Yes, it may get people to go pick up the book on Amazon, but you're not going to Hollywood anytime soon because it's an independently published project. But this family member didn't really understand this. They didn't understand that, hey, this is an online radio show. This is not anywhere near Hollywood. But again, when your insecurities get the better of you and your fears get the better of you, you're thinking that this is something that's going to lead to something else, but it's not going to lead to anything at all. The only thing I was trying to do, again, was trying to get some exposure for the first SJS Direct book. and that try to get some of the word out about this book that was getting good feedback from a lot of the book clubs I sent it to. But the whole thing is they didn't really understand anything. And this sabotaged the complete launch of All About Marilyn and really prevented the book from actualizing its potential and actually building any momentum. And it was very devastating to me as when it happened, but I had to just pull myself up and try to find another way to do things. And that's something you have to do when you're dealing with toxic family members is you have to learn how to adapt as related to situations. Because if you don't learn how to adapt, their setbacks will keep you from being able to move things in a good direction. And the whole thing is their insecurities and their fears will make it where you don't go out here and take risks because you're afraid that these people will get in the way. So you have to learn how to adapt to them when they try to sabotage you. You have to learn how to adapt to them and work around them. That's another thing you're going to have to do when you're dealing with these kinds of family members who don't support you. You're going to have to learn how to work around them because there's no way you can work with them towards achieving your goals. And if you're in a home with them, you're going to have to learn to work around them until you can get enough resources to go get your own spot. Now, if you can get your own spot, then you can definitely start really working around them. But as long as you're in their space, you've got to find a space so that you can go out here and start laying the foundation for being able to go out here and do your thing and work towards your goal. So what you have to do is, again, work very quietly like I had to do in trying to build the SJS Direct imprint. I had to work very quietly around family that really, in a lot of cases, didn't support the books I was doing or didn't really like the books I was doing. I just had to work around all of them and the drama. So I had to go out here and work around them and say, look, I'm just going to do my work in quiet. I'm going to do my work privately. I'm going to just work on my books by myself. And that's what I had to do after the All About Marilyn debacle. I had to start regrouping and I had to start working on a new way to try to start promoting my work because there was no way I could do it. And I didn't really get another opportunity to go out here and make an appearance in media until I got discovered by Obsidian back in 2017 or 2018. And by that time, I was finally able to start getting a break and start getting the word out more about SJS Direct books. But it took a long time for me to do that because I was out here, again, just working on my own, working with next to no support, just going out here, making my YouTube videos, trying my best to promote my work. And doing what I had to do. And I had to do that very quietly. I mean, I would run into resistance practically everywhere. I mean, people were giving me a hard time about hand-drawn book covers. Then when I went out here and hired Bill Walko to do the first ISIS cover, I thought that would stop the crabs in a bucket. And then it turns into, oh, the characters on the cover aren't black. And it became the light skin, dark skin, straw man argument. And after that, I just said, I'm just not going to talk to anybody about my work out here as related to family. Just stop talking because it's hard to go out here and be enthusiastic when you're getting no support. So you just don't talk to people about the work that you're doing because they don't really, everybody, you go out here and you give people change, you make changes, and then they go out here and it's just not good enough. And it just makes you go, hey, I can't talk to you about this. And that's what you're going to have to deal with. You can't talk to anybody about anything. And usually I have to go out here and talk to people in professional circles because I can't talk to family about a book because people they get upset, they get emotional. And some of it, I believe, is some people, they're in some ways they get jealous, but there's nothing you can do about how other people feel. You can only do something about you trying to move yourself forward. That's all you can do in these situations. And that's what I've been doing for the past like 13, 14 years, trying to move myself forward, trying to move the SJS Direct Imprint forward. And that's what you're going to have to do, because you have a lot of people, they're just afraid of change, and they're afraid of you changing. And that's the biggest problem when you're dealing with family members who don't support you. They're afraid that you're going to change, and they don't understand that what you're trying to do is improve your quality of life, because where you are right now isn't a good place. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to make your life better, but they can't see that because they want you to stay in that comfortable place that makes them feel secure about where you are. And I know where this viewer is coming from because I've been there myself. And I know that, yeah, they want you to stay in that place that makes them feel comfortable. But this place is not a good place for you. Like for me, being out of work is not a good for me, and not having enough money to do the things that I want is not good enough for me. I want to be able to go out here and do more things. I want to be able to have my own place. I want to be able to have a savings. I want to be able to go out here and do these things. And I have a hard time trying to do these things because it's hard to get these jobs. So I started the SJS Direct Imprint so I could go out here and make my own money, since no one else wants to give me a job. So a lot of these family members, they don't want you to see you move forward because they need you to stay at that spot at the bottom, because it makes them feel secure in their place in the world. But they don't understand what you're trying to do is you're trying to improve yourself. You're trying to do better so that you can be better. And you want to go out here and accomplish something so that you can go out here and not only improve your life, but you can improve their life. And this is something many family members don't understand because they want to remain comfortable. But the whole thing is, you don't get changed by being comfortable. No, you don't get to change by being comfortable. No, you get out of a miserable situation by being uncomfortable enough to get up. And that's what you have to do when you want to go out here and accomplish something. When you want to go out here and accomplish something, you know that you have to get up, because nobody is going to give it to you. You've got to go out here and get it yourself. And on the road to getting it yourself, that's when you're going to get the most resistance, because again, a lot of people depend on you being at the bottom so they can have their smooth world. The minute you start getting up and making moves, that's when their whole world gets disrupted. Because when you go out here and start making moves, that's when they cannot count on you being where you are. They can't depend on you being where you are. And they can't go out here and have you be there to be in the company of their misery. And if you're not there in the company of their misery and you're gone, that really puts the onus on them to go out here and start taking responsibility for themselves. So that's one of the reasons why you get so much resistance from many family members out here. When you're in a home and you're starting to talk about going to trade school, or talking about going to college, or starting your own business, when you start talking about making power moves, that's when you start to hear people become who you thought were your biggest supporters become naysayers, because they see that their world is going to change because you are changing your place in the world. And when you start changing your place in the world, that's when their fears start to rise because people start to look at themselves and say, hey, if he's out here doing this, then somebody's going to look at me and start asking me why I can't do this. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people, that's their main reason for resisting family members who want to change. They see that person going out here and making those changes, and they start taking a look at themselves, and they start saying, oh wait, if he's doing this, then somebody's going to look at me and ask me why I can't do this. And that's when they start getting angry. That's when they start getting not angry at you, but angry at themselves. And they get angry at themselves because they realize that if you're out here doing this, then what's to stop me from doing this? And that's the main reason why they want to sabotage you, because they don't want to go out here and put in that work. But when you put yourself first, you understand that you can't let people get in your way. You have to keep focusing on the goals you're working on, because the goals you're working on have to be so important to you that you have to go out here and make sacrifices for those goals. And that's something that you're going to have to do if you want to go out here and accomplish something. You're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices, and that's where we see the true grit of an individual, when they have to start letting things go. I mean, if you want something in this life, if you want to really make change, sadly, you may have to sacrifice friends, you may have to sacrifice family. I mean, it's not something that's easy to do, and it's not something that is easy to deal with, because it's something that really hurts, that you can't share your work with people. I mean, that's one of the things that really hurts me sometimes. I can't really share my work with my family because they don't really understand it. And I just wanted to share my work with them, but they don't get it, so I don't really share it with them. So I get more positive responses from my work on social media than I do from my family. So that's one of the things that's a painful thing for me, but I just have to deal with it, because that's just how it is out here. If you want to accomplish something, you're going to have to go out here and do it by yourself, because at the end of the day, the only person who is going to value your work is you, and you're trying to sell it to an audience. So you have to go out here and trust in God and do the best as related to your work. So I go out here and I put in my work out here, and I put out the books on the SJS Direct catalog. To the best of my ability. And I don't really talk about them too much, because the way I see it, sometimes you just got to go out here and do what you need to do, and not worry about other people. It's like Charles Stanley says, obey God and leave all the consequences to him. So what I do is I try to follow God and just leave the consequences to him, put my best work out there, and just do the best that I can with the work that I'm doing. So that's another part of it as related to dealing with these family members, is you're going to have to go, again, work in that stealth mode and not tell anybody about stuff, and then just go out here, put your best work forward, and then wait for the results. And then when you get the results, you really can't talk to people about the results. The best thing to do is to just let people find out about stuff, because if you tell people about stuff, that's when their anger and their jealousy is going to start flaring up. That's when their insecurities are going to start flaring up. And that's when you're going to have to deal with headaches and drama. And it's just better to just go out here, do your work very quietly on stealth mode, and you don't have to deal with headaches and drama from people who wouldn't care about your work if they knew it was yours. I mean, in a lot of cases, I believe if somebody else did the same work that I did, it would be a whole different story. But because they hear you're doing the work, that's when you have to deal with the insecurities and the jealousy from some of these individuals. And again, it's a tough road, but you have to go out here and persevere. You have to go out here and work quietly by yourself. You have to go out here and just keep your passion driving you, because it's your passion for what you want to do. That's the thing that's going to keep you going, because you're going to run into, if you let people get you down, they'll keep you down, but you can't let these people keep you down. You have to go out here and keep pushing for where you want to go and what you want to do, because that's what happens when you put yourself first. When you put yourself first, you are saying, look, this goal means something to me, and this goal means so much to me that I'm willing to do what I need to do to get this goal accomplished. Now, some guys, when they're out here and they have situations with these kind of family members, they really want to move things forward, and they don't know how to do it. But the only way you're going to do it is on stealth mode. You're going to have to stay quiet, and you're just going to have to start setting your goals by yourself. And as you set your goals by yourself, you have to understand everything you do, you're going to be doing on your own, and you can't really worry about trying to get support from other people. So for the last 10 years on the SJS Direct Imprint, I haven't really looked for too much support from the family. I have always just went out here and just put my best foot forward, put my best work forward, and God has worked with me to do things. I mean, he's blessed me to do things. I mean, guys like Bill Walko, they did the ISIS and Easteen logo. That was a big help to me for the ISIS and Easteen books. I mean, he did that. It was a big, great thing. And other people have come and donated money, and that's helped a long way. Again, if people see you out here working towards your goal, they want to help you. And when you're trying to be positive, you're going to attract positive people to you. So if you're out here and you don't have no support from family, you go out here and just keep working, and you will find the work, help, and support to go out here and do the things that you want to do. So that has helped me go out here and publish over 80 titles on the SJS Direct Imprint. God and all the people who have helped out. And it's helped me with my most recent project, John Haynes at Death's Door, the comic I have on Kickstarter, which currently has 48 pledges and is fully funded and passed the first stretch goal. And I'm looking to get to 50 pledges. And with your help, we can get to 50 pledges if you click the link on the chat and drop a pledge where $5 will get you a digital copy and $15 will get you a paper copy. And if you want a copy autographed, you can get a copy autographed. And all you have to do is put that in I'll put a request for an autograph in the surveys when the Kickstarter ends. So what's going on, Kalina? Glad to see you here. What's going on, Zken? But what's going on, One Full Boss? But it's a tough road. Again, I say it over and over, because putting yourself first means you have to focus on you. And a lot of times when you're in a toxic family, they want to make it about them, but you have to make it about you. This was something my father had told me before he passed away. He had told me, you have to focus on you, and you have to take care of yourself. And he didn't know I was working on this for years, but it's just tough to do it. And it's a very hard thing to do. I mean, a lot of people think putting yourself first is easy, but it is very hard. I know where people are going when you have family. You want to care for them, but you have to put focus on you. And that was something I learned from the Dr. Robert Glover, Mr. Nice Guy book that I bought back in 2009, putting yourself first. And again, putting yourself first means you see a bad situation and you start making efforts to get out of that situation. And when you're dealing with toxic people, again, they will give you resistance, and they give you resistance because they don't want you to change. But they don't understand, if you don't change, the situation stays the same. What they don't understand is that if you do not make changes to get out of the toxic situation, you're going to wind up stuck in the same bad situation. What's going on, God's spiritual poet? Glad to see you here. Talking about putting yourself first and toxic family members. And the whole thing is the solution to this, again, you have to be very quiet about how you do things. And putting yourself first is not a bad thing. No, putting yourself first is a good thing. And the sad thing is that most people don't see how putting yourself first is going to benefit them. Many people don't understand that when you go out here and you start working on goals, it's not just about you getting better, they're going to get better too. Now, in the situation I had in 2009, where the All About Maryland radio, the show I was doing, was going to get sabotaged, they didn't understand that it wasn't about going to Hollywood. It was about trying to get exposure for this book, trying to go out here and build my brand, and trying to go out here and expand the readership on the SJS Direct imprint, because the book had gotten, again, a lot of positive feedback from Black women, and it was about trying to build an audience with the Black female audience. They didn't understand that this was just a radio show. It was just a start to get a little bit of exposure for a book that had a positive following. And if I had gotten that exposure, maybe it would have led to an increase in sales for a book that had gotten started. And maybe it would have helped build the momentum for my next book, The Temptation of John Haynes. So they didn't understand how the business aspect of work for publishing work, and they didn't understand this. And it was hard. You couldn't explain this to them, because what they want to do is go out here and think you're going to go out here and run to Hollywood. But again, it wasn't about Hollywood. It was about trying to build a readership. And in the aftermath of that, I had to regroup. I mean, I had several failures. I had the Harlem Book Fair fail for me 2 years in a row. And then I had to regroup online with ebooks. And that's when I started to build the audience for the SJS Direct imprint on platforms like Smashwords. That's where I started to regroup, because on Smashwords, I could operate in stealth mode. And as I was operating on stealth mode from I think about 2011 to about 2013, I was still out here trying to get the word out as related to the SJS Direct imprint. I ran into resistance on the covers. And then when I did the Wrath of the Cyber Goddess cover, it went from, oh, the art's terrible, to light skin, dark skin. And it was just, again, more negativity, people not really wanting to see that I'm trying to do positive work, because they want me to remain in my place at the bottom, just out here struggling. But you have to say that you are better than this. You can do better than this, and you can go out here and be better than this. It's all about your perception of self. It's all about who you are. And you have to say that I have value as a person, I have worth as a person, and I can do better than where I am right now. And this is something that the viewer has to understand, that you have a right to do better and be better. And you have to, again, work quietly towards being the best person you can be, because you have a right to do better than what you're doing right now. You have a right to a better quality of life, and you have a right to go out here and work towards improving the quality of your life. And you may have to work very quietly at it, where you go out here and you have, your bank account that's private. You start saving your money very quietly. You just putting money away. You don't really say much about how much money you're making. You just put maybe $200 every 2 weeks away towards your own place, and putting a down payment on your own place. I mean, you may do that very quietly. Nobody needs to know how much you make. All they need to know is that as long as the bills are paid, that's all they need to know. That's another part of going out here and putting yourself first and dealing with these negative family members, is you have to go out here and you have to go out here and do things, and again, very quietly, and you have to work towards your goals very slowly. So you have to go out here and work towards your goals very slowly. They don't need to know how much you make, but you're putting money away for your goal, which is eventually moving away from these people. And as you put that together very slowly, you start making your plans to say, hey, I'm going to put this money away, and eventually I'm going to have enough money to get my own spot. And I'm going to work on building my budget so that I can take care of myself once I get my own spot. So that's the other thing you have to work on as related to putting yourself first. You have to go out here and say, I need to work on a plan to move away from these kind of individuals because they don't want to see me grow. They don't want to see me change. And the only way things are going to change is if I leave the situation, because once I leave the situation, then I can get away from the toxic individuals who do not support what I'm trying to do and don't understand what I'm trying to do. You have, because if you're dealing with people who don't understand what you're trying to do, again, their insecurities and their fears are going to make it where they're going to try to tear down everything that you build. And it's not possible to build with people when they're ripping bricks out the wall, because they don't understand that the bricks that you're putting in the wall are meant to help them. They're sitting there thinking, oh, you're doing this to try to hurt them, but you're not doing this to hurt them. And this is something that they don't understand. This is not about hurting them. This is about helping yourself so that you can help them. All they're thinking is, I'm comfortable here. I'm in my spot. I'm in this place. And as long as I'm in this place, everything is fine. But everything is not fine because you're going nowhere. And if you're going absolutely nowhere, then nothing is changing. And you're stuck in the same spot doing the same thing. Talking about, I want to change, I want things to be better. It's like you can't talk about it, you got to be about it. And you got to go out here and make those steps every day. I mean, when I'm out here working on books, I'm not just working on books, I'm out here promoting books, I'm making videos. I am working every day towards what I want to get, which is a big break where I can go out here and get a large audience for an SJS Direct book. I can go out here and build a large audience for SJS Direct products. And I've been working on this for about 14 years now. And again, I've been working hard because I understand I need to put myself first if I want to accomplish anything, because I can't let other people's fears dictate how I live. I learned that back when I was in high school. You can't let other people's fears dictate how you live. You can't let other people tell you how you're going to go out here and do and how you're going to live. Because if you live by another man's rules, you are going to be controlled by other people. And that's not a healthy way to live life at all. No, that's an existence. And if people don't want to support what you're doing, then you have to make plans to work around those people until you can leave that environment. And that's the only thing you can do when you're in these kind of situations. And working around people is something that you have to learn how to do if you want to move your life forward and put yourself first. If you want to put yourself first, you're going to have to learn how to work around these kind of individuals, doing things very quietly, doing things where nobody knows what you're doing, and not talking about anything until the final result of the product is complete. So I'm even doing that right now with John Haynes at Death's Door. I have not really told too many people about the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter outside of people on social media. I have just talked about it to people on social media. I mean, this is the first SJS Direct comic, and I didn't want to see it sabotaged, so I didn't say a single word about it to people on the street. I just kept it real quiet, and nobody knows about it right now. I just keep it on stealth mode because I just want to be able to get this comic to the finish line without any sort of sabotage. But it was a long road getting John Haynes at Death's Door to Kickstarter. I mean, I first started out with, I wanted to do an ISIS project, but it didn't get funded. So I went back and regrouped, and I regrouped very quietly. I didn't really tell anybody. One of my viewers gave me a donation that helped me to get the first 10 pages done. And then I took the Patreon and Cash App donations and went out here and used that to finish paying Antonio Balderi for the art and paid Gons for the lettering. So I did that very quietly. So I went out here and just did it very quietly. And now the book is on Kickstarter and it's fully funded. And I'm looking to get to the stretch goals, and I'm looking to try to possibly get more people to pick up this book. I want to get up to 50 pledges. I mean, I would love to get the success of a Young Ripper or Diversity in Comics, but I know that it's a long road and it's a tough road. And again, the only way I got on this road is by putting myself first, and I put myself first because thank you for the Cash App and thank you, Murky Swamp, for the kind words. But the whole thing is I had to keep pushing because I wanted to get this goal completed. And you're going to have that same grit and determination, the viewer who requested this topic, because you can't let people get in your way. You can't let people keep you from going out here and doing what you need to do. You can't let people get in your way and keep you from achieving what you want to achieve and accomplishing what you want to accomplish. You can't let people hold you back from doing what needs to be done. I mean, this is your life. And if you want to improve the quality of your life, you really can't let your family get in the way of improving the quality of your life, because you have a right, again, to a better life. You have a right to a better quality of life. And if these people don't support you in that, then again, you just have to work around them until you can find a place where you can work without them. So you have to work around them. And that may mean that you don't say anything about your projects. It may mean you don't say anything about your job. It may mean that you don't really say anything about stuff that means something to you, but you're not saying anything, not because you don't want to hurt your relatives. You want to do it because you don't want people hurting your chances of making that power move and getting towards that big break that you're trying to get to. You're trying to protect yourself from having somebody throw a monkey wrench in all of your work, and you're trying to prevent somebody from going out here and sabotaging you because they think that they're doing this because they're going to keep you. So some of people think they do it out of jealousy. Others do it because they think they're going to keep you safe. But the whole thing is that they're not keeping you safe, because the longer you stay in a toxic situation, the worse it gets for you. Because when you stay in a toxic situation, sooner or later, all of these family members, eventually, they may not be with you much longer. And then you're stuck here with no way of being able to do for self. And that's why you have to put yourself first. And that's why you have to work on the goals you want to accomplish, because these people, when you are on tough times, they're not going to be there to be able to pull you out. And the whole thing is you can't depend on other people to pull you out of things. You've got to go out here and get your own stuff and get yourself together towards getting your own stuff. And that's what they don't understand. They think, oh, as long as this person stays at the bottom in our household, oh, everything's okay. As long as we've got this guy at the bottom, everything is fine. But that's sating your emotions. That's not helping this person grow, because what helps this person grow is them going out here and working on their goals, working on what they accomplish, working on what they want to do. Because if they can go out here and do their work and move themselves forward, then that's one less person you need to worry about. That's one less person at the bottom, and that's one less person who is in a place where they're suffering. And if this person is growing and thriving, guess what they can do? And this is what jealous family members don't understand, is they can reach back and help you. And they can also help your family go out here and be on better footing, because if one person has, other people have as well. And this is something many jealous family members don't understand. They don't understand that if this person comes up, you will be getting benefits. The family will be on better footing, because the more members that have things, the more members that are doing well, the more members that are out here, the stronger economically the family is. And that person can actually help you by being able to do more for the family. Because if the person is just sitting there in the house all day doing nothing, what are they adding to the family? That's the critical question many family members, they don't really think about as related to the person that they're trying to sabotage. If this person is sitting here doing nothing, you're sitting here complaining about them. But if this person is working and working towards goals, that means that they are doing something, and you want people doing something, not people sitting in the house all day doing nothing. So we got this troll here looking to start some trouble. Got to go out here and block them once again. So the whole thing is that when you have a family member who is out here looking to improve, you need to support them, because if you support them, they create a building block, and that building block allows your family to be stronger. And that's something many family members don't understand. They just think, oh, this guy is out here, he's doing something foolish, or he's doing something stupid, or he's writing some, like some people, they think, oh, he's just writing some mess, not understanding that if I go out here and I start getting these books out here and building an audience, this is going to help, because one, we're getting more positive images of Black people out there. Two, we're getting more diverse stories about Black people out here. And three, it's just, again, going to go out here and generate book sales, which is something I'm trying to do right now because it's kind of slow. And you're getting things out of this whole relationship that are improving. This person is actually improving, because as you go out here and you're working on your goals, again, you're building up your self-esteem, you're building up your confidence, you're building up your self-worth. So you're building yourself up. And these are things that people don't like, because they want to keep you in that place where you were, because this was the safe space for them. You being at the bottom is a safe space, but you growing as a person, this is something they're not used to. They're not used to you having self-confidence. They're not used to you going out here and having a sense of worth and a sense of purpose. And that's something that, again, a lot of people, they don't really look at, because when you're in a codependent relationship, you're used to having all the power, and because you're used to having all the power, you're not understanding that when this person takes their power, this is actually a positive thing, because this person is less dependent on you. And this is something that some of the toxic family members don't get, because they want to stay in the codependent relationship where you're at the bottom. But the whole thing is that relationship will improve, because if you learn how to respect someone, you see that person as they are, and you get to see a different side of yourself. Now, some people don't want to see that person change. They don't want to see that person get that confidence. They don't want to see them get that self-worth. That's when people start getting real nasty. And that's when you have to still keep the course, because you are getting better, you are healing, and you can't let this person take you back to a place where you are hurting and you're in a dysfunctional emotional state. You want to get out of that toxic situation, and you want to be in a healthy situation. So people don't want to see you going out here changing. So that's something that people don't want to see. But you changing is a good thing, because you're building up your self-esteem, you're building up your self-worth, you're building up your confidence. And as you're out here improving, yeah, you're going to get a lot of resistance from family because they want to see you in this place because, excuse me, they're comfortable with you in that place, but you are uncomfortable at this place because you know you can do better than being in this dead end spot. You know you can do better than this dead end, and you know that you can go out here and improve your quality of life. So that's something they don't really understand that you're trying to do, and you still have to keep going at it because it's something that means something to you, and it's something that is important to you. So when you're out here working on your goals, you have to say, look, this is important to me, and I can't let anybody, really stop me. I have to go out here and keep pushing. And if I have to do this by myself, then I have to do it by myself. And sometimes that's all you can do is do it by yourself. Because if you really believe in this, if this means the most to you, you're going to put yourself first and keep working towards that goal. You're going to have to go out here and say, look, I'm going to have to do this goal by myself. I'm going to have to work towards this by myself. I'm not going to be able to do this and think about having other people work with me. No, you have to work on your own by yourself. And Joy makes a good point. Yes, some of us still have a slave mentality. And this is something I ran into again when I started SJS Direct, because a lot of people, they have this slave mentality. They don't think you're a success if you're not working for some white corporation. They measure your success by that one barometer, working for a white corporation. And they don't understand that working on your own takes a lot of discipline. It takes a lot of perseverance. And again, you're facing not only people in your family being against you, but people outside being against you. And you have to continue pushing, and you have to push against the slave mentality of many who only think that you are a failure because you're not working for some brand name white corporation. They only think that you're a success if you work for somebody white and have a white boss over you. That's what I ran into as related to many people out here who are working in HR, who created the HR brick wall. Many people, they only think that if you're working for some white man, that you have some success. They don't understand that you working for yourself means you're working towards your passion, you're working for your dreams, and you're working for that passion and those dreams because you want to, again, accomplish something in life. And again, the only way you can accomplish something in life is to put yourself first, because when you put yourself first, you are saying that I have value, I have worth, and I can do better, and I'm going to do what needs to be done in order to improve the quality of my life. That's what you have to say to yourself when you're putting yourself first. And as you put yourself first, yes, you're going to run into resistance, but you have to stay determined and focused on your goal. And you have to say, look, I'm going to keep working towards this goal, even if I have to work all by myself. So that's what you have to do in most cases. And again, working in stealth mode is how many Black people overcome the crabs in a barrel, because while they would love to have the support of the community out here, they can't get that support from their community because you have so many jealous individuals, and these jealous individuals, all they want to do is tear people down so that they can continue staying in the same spot they were in. And they don't understand that the spot that they're in is a dead end spot, and that dead end spot is going to get you nowhere in life. I mean, if this person, and what they don't understand is that as long as this person stays in that spot, yes, you may feel comfortable, but that doesn't help that person one iota towards moving themselves forward. As long that may make you feel comfortable, and a lot of people who are in these type of situations, they're thinking, oh, I stopped that guy from doing something. I talked him out of doing something, but that person is still on your sofa and they're still sitting there when they could be out here doing better for themselves. And the whole thing is that if this person is still sitting there, thank you, Anthony Chobot, for the kind words. That person is still sitting here. How are they helping you? And that's a critical question. Many of these family members don't understand. If this person is on your sofa doing nothing, they're not helping you and they're not helping themselves. So if you get in the way of them moving themselves forward, what you're doing is hurting them, because if they're getting up off the sofa, if they're working on something, let them do that work, because that work eventually will help you. And if they leave, they leave, but they're supposed to leave. People are supposed to leave because that's what happens when people grow. When people grow, they go out and make changes to move themselves forward. And yes, those changes may make things uncomfortable for you because you were used to depending on them, but you weren't supposed to depend on them. No, people, they care. If they care about you, they're going to still be there. And that's where many of the toxic family members' insecurities are. They're afraid, oh, if this person changes and leaves, they won't be there for them. But no, if people love you, they are going to be there for you. If people care about you, they are going to be there for you. But in order for them to move there, in order for them to be in a place to be there for you and really be able to support you, you have to let them go and let them grow. And that's something many families who have codependency issues have a problem with. They don't know when to let a person go so that they can grow. No, they let their fear get the better of them. And when they let their fears get the better of them, this individual does not go out here and build important intangibles like self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-worth that will allow them to go out here and be able to move their lives forward. No, what they wind up becoming is filled with insecurities and anxieties, and that person can't go out here and be a better person. So a lot of these family members, again, some of them, they do this out of jealousy, and others do it out of what they call protection, but all of it is rooted in fear. And because it's rooted in fear, they think that they are hurting, they are helping the person in some cases, not the jealous ones, but the protectors. But the jealous ones think that they're stopping you, but you can't let them stop you. You have to keep pushing, because if this means something to you in your heart, you've got to go for it. And you can't be afraid to go out here and make it the very best it can be. I mean, whatever you're working on in silence, like I have done with the over 80 books in the SJS Direct imprint and the John Haynes at Death's Door Kickstarter and the comic, everything that I do it to the best of my ability. And I keep it very quiet about what I'm doing, because if nobody knows that I'm doing it at home, then they can't sabotage it. But if people in public see that I'm working hard, they see that I'm out here pushing every day. And again, I put myself first as I push, because I have goals I want to accomplish. One of the goals I want to do is bring more positive books to Black people and bring more positive stories to Black people. Two, I want to go out here and diversify the Black book market by giving you stories that you don't get in other markets, like those Smith Dorella trilogy where you got Black Goths, the Thetas where you got a Black sorority, Black fantasy like the Isis and Esteem series, and books like the John Haynes series and the John Haynes comic book. I wanted to go out here and do this, and I said, you know, I wanted to have the support of the Black community. I mean, I tried to reach out to the Black community, so I have to, if I can't work with them in public, I work in stealth mode. And if I have to work in stealth mode, then that's the only way I can get things done, because I run into a lot. Again, I run into this resistance every day. I run into it when I had feminists attacking the ISIS series, with talking about the covers, And even some of these hoteps and pro-blacks, I run into it from family members who don't really like a lot of the stories that I do because they don't understand them. I run into this resistance every day, but I just keep going out here, persevering and pushing to get these stories out. I mean, I just go out here and keep working and keep going because the Most High told me to keep going. Even after I lost my job at City College, I just keep pushing. And again, I know about resistance because I run into resistance because I understand that people who are resisting you, again, the main reason why they resist you is because they are afraid of change. But in order to get things better, you have to change. This is something that I took from Dr. Robert Glover's No More Mr. Nice Guy book, and I also take from my own personal life. If you want things to change, you're going to have to go out here and just change them, because in order for things to change, you have to make sacrifices, and that's something you're going to have to do. And again, it's a very painful process, but it's something you have to do. And you may not be able to go out here and share it with some people, but if you love yourself, you're going to do this because you love yourself and you want to go out here because this means something to you, and you're going to make it the best it can be. And again, they may not be with you then, but I guarantee you, once you start blowing up and getting big, the same people who was against you and talking all this stuff about you, these same people will be like, oh, I was there with him when he first started out. It's like, you were the same one talking all this stuff, but then just let them talk, because you have accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. But putting yourself first is very important, and you have to put yourself first, even in the face of adversity. And I know what this viewer is going through with these family members, but again, you have to operate on stealth mode. You have to keep things quiet, not say much about anything, and then just keep out here working at setting your goals and working towards your goals, and then never telling anybody about what you did until it's done. And even once it's done, you don't really tell too many people about it. You just keep it quiet and keep moving to your next goal. Your goals are, when you put yourself first, are about you. It's not about other people. And the whole thing about putting yourself first is making sure that your goals are accomplished and things are done. Don't worry about the other people. Just focus on yourself and trust in God, and He will help you accomplish what you want to accomplish. Now, I'm going to get ready to wrap up tonight's stream, and I'm asking everybody to head over to the Kickstarter and put in a pledge for John Hayes at Death's Door. Because I want to get more pledges for the book. I want to get to 50 pledges at least, and the book is fully funded, and we're at the first stretch goal, and we're working towards the second stretch goal. So I'm asking everybody to go out here and put in a pledge for John Hayes at Death's Door Kickstarter, and I'm also asking everybody to pick up the 2022 books of the SJS Direct imprint, ISIS, Legacy, and Eastern Horror of the Hyena Woman. Both of these books are on Amazon in paperback. And I want to thank everybody for coming out to tonight's stream, and I hope you'll be there for next week's stream. Have a good night and have a good evening.